What is the difference between a Type 1 and Type 2 hypervisor? Type 1 hypervisor, which is a bare metal hypervisor, it runs directly on the hardware without any operating system. For example, like VMware, ESXi, and Type 2 hypervisor, it runs on top of a host with an operating system. Like it could run on top of Windows or Linux, examples like VMware Workstation. So Type 1 runs straight on the computer hardware, like the ESXi, and Type 2 runs inside an operating system, like an app, which makes it easier to use, but it's slower. What are the different types of licensing, and how would you choose the right one? VMware offers various different licenses based on the features. So VMware vSphere Standard is basic for virtualization. vSphere Enterprise, this one adds features like Distributed Resource Scheduler, which is DRS, and vSphere Enterprise Plus includes advanced tools like vSAN and NSX integration. So think of these licenses like a video game. The higher the level, the more features you get, and you really start getting the enterprise. You really start getting the DRS in the enterprise and the vSAN in the enterprise plus. But even the vSphere standard will do the basic virtualization. What are the common 5 best efficiency practices for VMware vSphere environments? So there's a lot of different efficiency practices. You want to resource your pools for resource management. You want to enable DRS, which is distributed resource scheduler for load balancing. Use VM templates to deploy VMs quickly, so you're not building it from scratch. You want to optimize storage using thin provisioning. And you want to regularly update vSphere components. So DRS, resources, templates to save time, and thin provisioning to avoid wasting any sort of storage. What are the common 5 best practices for VMware vSphere environments? So some of the best practices are enable lockdown mode to restrict access to ESXi hosts. It's kind of like securing your house with a lock door. Like you only you put a lock on it, right? And you also want to use role-based access control and give keys only to the trusted people. So first you want to lock it, restrict it, and then you want to make sure that you're using RBAC to give it to the right people. And you also want to monitor. You want to monitor the logs using vRealize login site. And you want to make sure you're always updating your VMware tools and patches, and also encrypting all your VMs and data so it's secure. What are some common issues you have observed in VMware environments? So some of the common issues which occur are when the CPU is being overused, so a lot of the resources are being used. It's kind of like you're running too many apps on your phone, where resources get overloaded or updates can cause glitches. So a lot of the VMs are being used. A lot of the VM snapshot overuse causing storage issues. So you have too many snapshots. Network misconfiguration, which lead to connectivity problems. So there's something wrong with the network. ESXi hosts going into not responding state, or compatibility issues after you do any updates for patches, or any sort of general updates. Why would a company use different cloud types? Companies use different cloud types such as private, public, and hybrid based on their different needs. Private cloud is usually used for sensitive data, so any banking industry would be using it, or public cloud is more for scalable and cost effective resources such as AWS or Azure. And hybrid cloud combines both for flexibility, private and public. So it's like choosing between a private home, private cloud, a shared rental, which is public cloud, or both hybrid depending on your privacy and cost. What are some of the primary benefits of server, desktop, and application virtualization? Overall, virtualization saves money, reduces clutter, and make managing computers and apps easier. Server virtualization reduces hardware costs, improve resource utilization. Desktop virtualization, it's easier to manage the user desktops. And application virtualization runs apps in an isolated environment, avoiding conflicts and easier to manage. What are the different components of vSphere environment and the vSphere infrastructure? Well, some of the key components include ESXi host, which runs the virtual machines, vCenter server, which is a central management tool, so you manage all your VMs and ESXis from there. vSphere client, it's an interface for managing the resources. Storage, data stores for VMs to where all the information is stored. Networking, virtual switches for communication. And if you really think about vSphere, it is like a factory, and ESXi hosts are the machine, vCenter is the manager, and networking storage are the tools. How does vCenter being unavailable affect the distributed switch? This distributed switch keeps on running, but the only thing is you can't make any changes while vCenter is down. So VMware distributed switch continues to run even if the vCenter is unavailable because the switch configuration is stored on the ESXi hosts. And changes to the VDS cannot be made until the vCenter is restored. So you can't really make any changes on the virtual distributed switch until you resolve the vCenter server. But everything, the ESXi hosts will still run, but you can't make any changes. And the VDS is also running. How does vCenter being unavailable affect high availability, distributed resource scheduler, and fault tolerance? So high availability works because it's configured on the ESXi hosts. So new high availability settings cannot be made. As far as the distributed resource scheduler goes, that stops working since it relies on the vCenter to manage load balancing. Existing fault tolerance on the VMs will keep running, but new configurations can't be applied. So in summary, high availability will run, but load balancing and new setups will not work without the vCenter.